very bright. Hello and welcome back to the world of Craig. Yes, that's me, I'm Craig, and this is my channel where we get into everything hair and sometimes a little bit of beauty. I'm quite zesty today. Welcome to episode 2 of Hair Colour Facts, and oh my goodness, do I have some juicy ones for you. Hence the zesty t-shirt. Now, the first of my hair colour facts is a mildly serious one and something relating to box dye. Now, this series is all about dispelling myths and sharing facts, and that's exactly what I'm going to do when it comes to what I choose to call home colorants. There is a lot of negative connotation around box dye, even the way it's said, even the way you see, oh, she's got box dye, or even sometimes my consumer followers, hello, who say, oh, I use box dye, that's bad. It's not bad at all. But there is something that I want to talk to you about, obviously, on here. And hopefully be able to take some fear away from the hairdressers, from the pro hair peeps, and also take some fear away from you if you're a consumer too. I'm going to pop some things on the screen here, probably, on the screen here, regarding hair colour. First of all, let's talk about permanent hair colour that you buy over the counter that contains metallic salts. Metallic salts. I'm seeing this a lot, and we're going to get into why I'm talking about this in a second. But first of all, I just wanted to share these screenshots with you. I've done a lot of research on this. I'm not a chemist. I don't formulate products. I have done work in the past with brands on formulations, but I am not a chemist. Chemists, like cosmetic and hair color chemists, hair scientists, they're absolutely incredible people. I'm very grateful that I have got to do that, and I am not one of those people. I'm a geek and a nerd, but I have researched what I am going to talk about, because otherwise I'd be nuts, because I'd be putting myself out there without doing my homework. So just keep in mind what we've just talked about with all of this on social media regarding hair colour and the internet, the tinterweb, regarding metallic salts. Now, moving on from those internet screenshots, I want to pop these on the screen, okay? This is an ingredients list for a pro hair colour from a really big brand, okay? One of the biggest brands. This is an ingredients list for a home hair colour, okay? Notice how I'm calling it a home hair colour. Our language, personally, I feel, our language is so important, especially when we're dealing with clients, about how the words we choose to describe a product, especially one that they might have been using at home. This is for a home hair colour, the ingredients, okay? Now, you might want to screenshot this. Obviously, I'm in the middle of it all, but you might want to screenshot this. You'll notice that both of these ingredients lists contain, and I wish in edit I could point directly at them, but I can't do that. I'm sure there is a way to do that, but I can't do that with my editing. Titanium dioxide. Now, I think this might be where people are getting a little bit upset or a bit confused, and where this kind of urban myth of metallic salts comes from. Titanium dioxide, which is in both of these formulas, and I will also say, put myself on the line here and say, have a look at these formulas closely, because they are extremely similar. There are slight differences, and the pro one contains some things that the home one doesn't, and the home one contains some things that the pro one doesn't, but they're very, very similar. Titanium dioxide, which is the thing that could be considered the metallic salt, is a dye stuff. That is the thing that actually plays a part in colouring the hair. So there's nothing sinister about it, there's nothing that's bad about it, and both of those products contain that ingredient, and both of them do contain a lot of other things as well. But titanium dioxide is possibly the only thing that I can think that people are, when it comes to permanent hair colour, are getting confused and thinking that it's a metallic salt. So now we've had a close look at the ingredients of both the professional product and the consumer product, the home use product, the home colour, yes. let's talk about really what does differentiate them both. But it's worth mentioning here, I would really advise you to Google yourself, to do some research and to have a look. Like I said, I'm not an authority on this and I'm definitely not a chemist, but I do want to help you as much as possible and potentially stop some of you from damaging your client base, or from, at the very, very least, making people feel rubbish, because I don't really want anyone to feel rubbish. I understand that people can't feel great all of the time, but I don't want to go towards making anyone feel bad. Now, to add here as well, that the main colour houses is what I'm talking about, because they're the ones that have the share of the market, the ones that produce a pro brand and a consumer brand. They don't formulate something in their factories where it's made, in their labs where it's made. They don't formulate something that's of inferior quality for home use. The formulas might be slightly different, but they're not out to get us. They really aren't out to get us at all. The thing that differentiates pro products from home use products is us. It's us as creative people. It's the fact that you come to the salon, you have a lovely experience. We mix several products together, several different shades of colour with a very specific level of developer for that product. We are careful of development time. We might advise numerous different processes throughout an application to make something look really great. You're not getting that with a home use product, but you're getting that with us. That's the only difference. We already know that the formulas are very similar. We know that metallic salts is, I'm not quite sure where that's come from. There's a lot of myths in this industry in hairdressing, isn't there just? Things that are talked about in the staff room and now that leak out onto our social medias, not mine, but it is out there a lot. So it's us. It's our creativity and our ability and knowledge, the fact that we spend a lot of time getting to know a product line, know what we can do with it. We learn all these amazing techniques and we look after our clients and make them feel wonderful. That is what makes the products different. Briefly, I would just like to add to that if you are active on social media and you do use it to promote your business, or even if you have a social media platform where your clients follow you, please be careful and be thoughtful of how you talk about home hair colour, because I've been hairdressing for 35 years and a lot of my clients I've seen for 30 years, and I do have regular clients that come to me for haircuts and maybe a bit of partial colour here and there, or a toner, a gloss, that colour their hair at home. I'm completely fine with that. I don't have a problem at all. Yes, of course, if someone's colouring their hair at home and they're not being very careful, the colour might build up, it could get deeper, it could get darker, it could get slightly bandy, but whatever that means. No, you know what that means. But we're here to help them. That's what we're here for. We're here to give them a great service, make them feel really good about themselves, and maybe talk to them about their colour, even if they are doing it at home. There's nothing like dissing something to make somebody feel bad about themselves. And as hair pros, we really aren't in the nature of doing that. Quite a long hair colour fact, but something that I really feel needed to be said. Now, before we move on to our next fact, if you enjoy this and find it helpful, please give it a like. Scary. Make sure you subscribe and you hit that bell. You need to turn your notifications on so you see what's coming here on my channel. And I have a strict policy where I answer all of your comments. You comment, I will get back to you. Period. It seems only fair. If you're going to reach out to me, I'm going to get back to you. So please leave any comments that you might have down below. I do answer them all. So, fact number 2, or kind of myth dispelling number 2. And this is both, again, for pros and for consumers. I love that. Hey! And that is that hair colour has a built-in timer. So permanent hair colour or demi-permanent hair colour has a built-in timer, like a clock, and it just stops taking. Well, that's not true. And the fact is that it doesn't have a built-in timer or clock that stops it from taking. We've talked about this a lot on videos here, and I talk about it on my Instagram, but the energy that's in a permanent colour or a demi-permanent colour is provided by hydrogen peroxide. And that's a catalyst that makes the product work. Love that. All the hand movements again today. Makes the product work. We've already talked about chemists who formulate things that are absolutely incredible, but it's impossible to create a product that has a switch that just basically turns the product off. What happens is that catalyst, the hydrogen peroxide, provides the chemical reaction to make the product go into the cuticle of the hair and to sit wherever it's going to sit, whether it be deeper in the hair if it's a permanent colour or under the cuticle if it's a demi-permanent colour. And basically that chemical reaction slows down over time. But if you leave a permanent colour or a demi-permanent colour on for longer than the actual development time, it will get and can get, not always, because it's down to that chemical reaction, slightly deeper. Slightly stronger in tone, slightly deeper in level. It might appear slightly darker to the eye. It could leave a slight band on the hair when it's up against the product that was used the last time, if it's a permanent colour. So the fact is that hair colour doesn't have a built-in timer. Our third and final fact. Going low and slow when using bleach with one application as opposed to doing 2 applications is much better for the hair. That's a fact. It is. It's much better for the health of the hair for several different reasons. Now, I'm a huge advocate of going in low and slow. What exactly does that mean? Well, it means being very careful with your ratio of your lightener or bleach. I'm going to call it bleach. I don't have a problem calling the product bleach, even in front of clients. Shock horror. It's how you talk about the product. You know, if you say all bleach, then obviously a client might be frightened by that, or a consumer. So I just say bleach, and it just is what it is. That's what it is. But you can call it whatever you want to call it. It's all about being careful with your ratios with the product that you're using and your peroxide level, and it's about understanding that product. So I get to know a lightening product that I'm using and I understand it really well. I'm very careful with it. I'm very respectful of the guidelines and then of the manufacturer's guidelines. And then I might start to use it a little bit, off of the guidelines, but I'm always very careful and I always keep my eye on it. And I always know the hair that I'm working on. If I don't know the hair that I'm working on, if it's a new client, someone that's been recommended to me or someone from Instagram, then I am super careful. Always, you have to be. So why do I say that going low and slow with one application is better than 2 applications? Well, this again comes back to that energy. If you think about it this way, when you're working on a very, very dark base, that's an exception. Sometimes that might take 2 lots of lift, but that's quite unless you're in a country where everyone's hair is very dark, and I'm not. So I'm not ruling that out, but I am very respectful of that. But I'm in Europe or was in Europe, the UK, terrible. But I am in the realm of Europe, so we're not such dark natural bases. And I haven't lifted someone's hair twice, as in 2 full applications of lightener in about 10 years. So I just haven't. And there's lots of lightening videos on here and there's more on my Instagram as well, which is somewhere down there. Now, basically it's down to energy. He loses his train of thought. Basically it's down to energy. If you're mixing up lightening product, bleach, with your chosen peroxide and applying it to the hair, when that product is fresh, and again, this is something I'm really passionate about, or I find really important, when you're doing any sort of lightening product, you want to continue to mix up your product. So you mix up a small amount of product, apply the product, mix another small amount and apply the product. I work in quadrants, so I will go 1, 2, 3, 4, and I will mix up fresh product for every quadrant. Lots to say in one segment. And that is all about energy, because you're mixing the product fresh, the chemical reaction starts, and then it lifts the hair very evenly. So, you're getting the product and making it work very efficiently and very effectively, but at its kind of full strength, if you like. So you can get the most from it, and it's going to lift the hair. I never go above 20 volume. Sometimes I mix 1 to 1. I never go above 20 volume on scalp. Sometimes I mix 1 to 1, sometimes I mix 1 to 2, sometimes I might mix 1 to 3, okay? But working like that is very efficient. It gets the best from the product. It gets you maximum lift. It does all of those things, but you're bleaching the hair. You're lightening the hair. So the chemical reaction of bleach on the hair is like little Pac-Man, if you like, on a very, very basic level. And that is going to remove a certain amount of strength from the hair. Even with the most amazing product, K18 that I use on all of my lightening clients, or all of my clients, full stop. I very rarely use conditioner in the salon anymore. I use the leave-in mask all the time. I use the mist before I do any lightening or hair colouring or any chemical service, keratins, or the odd perm, love a perm. Even with that, bleaching hair is going to take a certain amount of strength from it. If you do a lifting process once and then you rinse that off of the hair and then you go with another round of lightening, you're going to potentially weaken the hair so much more than if you go in once with a lower volume of developer and let it process for longer with things like tin foil and a loose plastic cap or a shower cap. I'm using shower caps now because then I can reuse them and it's much better for the environment. With a shower cap, then it keeps the heat in, the body heat, and you're going to get maximum lift, but doing the least amount of damage. So the fact is, that was a lot, wasn't it? So the fact is, it's better to go in once with your bleach when you're doing global lightening and go low and slow with the correct ratio and a product that you know, keeping your eye on it and maybe processing it for longer than bleaching the hair twice. That's it. We've come to the end of Hair Colour Facts episode 2. If you've got to the end, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much for watching. And as I said earlier on, if you have a comment or a question, I love a question, please pop it in the comments down below and I will get back to you. You all take lots and lots of care and I'll see you all in the next one.